watched the water drip down the sink and feel my eyes burn with tears. I crushed the cup in my fingers. No one is fighting for Amanda. They have simply accepted the fact that she's going to die. No one is questioning it. Why is nobody questioning it? She's been ready to go home. How can they just stand there while she dies? She was getting better. I hiss at my reflection, clenching my jaw as anger bubbles in my stomach. You alright in there? Simon calls. I turn and glare at the door before storming over to it and pushing it open with all of my pathetic strength. The door opens abruptly, forcing Simon to step back. Hey, watch it! You watch it! I snap and walk to my bed. I sit down and glare at him as he approaches. He had hidden while Amanda fought for her life. He had pulled his blanket over his head like a child. My hand aches to slap him. What's gotten into you? He says, coming to stand in front of me. You did nothing. My voice comes out like a hiss. What? You did nothing, and now Amanda's going to die. I try to shout, but my voice isn't up to it. My words come out hoarse and weak. What could I have done? You could have helped her. I'd have helped, then that thing would have seen me. It would have seen me as much as it sees you and Amanda. He let out a long, slow breath. You might have a death wish, but I don't. You're a coward, I said. I didn't see you leaping to help. He snapped. I tried, I said, my voice catching. I couldn't move. The words burn even more than the bile I'd thrown up a moment ago, and for a moment I think I might be sick again. What had I done? Nothing. I hadn't done anything while Amanda had been attacked. I'd been too weak to fight, and this morning when they told me Amanda was going to die, I had done nothing. I had just nodded and left. I hadn't done anything. I was just as useless as Simon and everyone else. Amanda's not good, huh? He asked, sitting on the bed next to me. I shake my head and say nothing. He hands me a tissue and I frown at it, confused until I realise I am crying. She was getting better. She was going home. She dead yet? Simon asks. I can't help the sob that rocks through me. I shake my head. Tomorrow, I manage. So what happens? He says. I turn and look at him. What do you mean? How can this just be something that happens? It's what she does, he shrugged. The lady. She kills people she sees. But she doesn't seem to notice most of us. Just some of us. Those who get noticed, she kills. And there's nothing we can do. You say that like it's okay, I snap. Simon shakes his head, his hands coming up defensively. Of course it's not okay, but there's nothing we can do, he says. You know that. She's been after you since the day you walked in here, and you've not been able to do a damn thing. He looks away from me. All you can do is stay quiet and hope she takes someone else. I can't believe you just said that, I say. It's how you survive in here. But Amanda was getting better, I say. You keep saying that like it makes any difference. I bet you weren't dying when you came in here. You had a tumour in your bowel, right? If she hadn't seen you, then they would have taken it out and you'd be home right now recovering. Instead, look at you. It's everywhere. Cancer spreads. Doesn't mean I'm dying, I say. Funny how it's spreading so fast in someone as young as you, isn't it? Funny how it's spreading to places that she touches. Next time she comes in here, what's to stop her touching your head or your heart? What will you do to stop it? What can any of us do? I feel my stomach clench as the cold feeling of dread spreads through me. He's right. I hadn't been able to protect Amanda, and I sure as hell hadn't been able to protect myself. My hands start shaking as I realise just how vulnerable we really are. How can this be allowed to happen? If she's real and she's really killing people in this hospital, why hasn't someone done something? If monsters like the Grey Lady are real, then where are the angels? Why is nothing being done to stop her? A feeling of hopelessness gathers like a wave ready to crash over me and pull me under. But my anger rises to meet it. How dare she? How dare she touch us? We who are already sick and vulnerable. She's a bully, targeting those who had no hope of fighting back, watching them suffer and die, and for what? For her own amusement? For an attempt to get out of the hospital? tired of being a victim, of being helpless. I am going to fucking tear her to pieces with my bare hands. That bitch, I stand up. That deceitful, evil bitch. Shh. Simon says, don't get her attention, for Christ's sake. No! I scream out at the ward, my voice loud despite my weakness. None of us should be dying here. If you think you can get away with it, I'll show you that there's more to me than you can handle, you shadow bitch. There is nothing but smoke and mirrors to you. I continue to shout. You hear me, scabrous wretch? Fuck you! Sophie, Simon says, scrambling away from me. My muscles feel tight, my hands clench. I am so exhausted of being afraid. I am sick to my stomach of fear. This cannot continue. How dare this thing make me afraid? How dare she hurt us? How dare she hurt Amanda? Amanda who was going to go home and wear jeans and dye her hair awful colours. I let out a wordless scream of anger. Come on then if you think you're hard enough. I don't care how ridiculous I sound. I wanted her to come for me. I wanted to dig my fingernails into her face and pull and tear until there is nothing there but shadows and smoke. I want to use my teeth to rip her to shreds. I have never been so angry. Sophie! A female voice stops me in my tracks. What do you think you're doing? I turn to see my mother. I sit in chemotherapy the next morning, glaring at the world around me and feeling very sorry for myself. Mum had been mortified to find me screaming in the ward. She demanded to look at my drug charts and try and find something that could make me behave so irrationally in her eyes. I had thought about telling her exactly what was happening, but every time I tried, the words shriveled and died in my throat. She already thought I was losing my mind on drugs just because I was angry. I couldn't imagine what her reaction would be if I started telling her about murderous ghosts appearing in the glass. She'd never believe me. The realization leaves me feeling even more isolated and depressed than I had after discovering Amanda was going to die. I lift my hand to scratch at my head and can't stop my arm from trembling. I tremble like a newborn foal constantly now. The doctors had warned me that weakness was a side effect of the chemo treatment, but I didn't expect to start getting side effects after just one treatment. I'd spent the morning fighting to keep down a few cornflakes and some water, but my stomach's complaining and I know I won't be able to manage lunch today. Stupid body, I grumble, feeling more pathetic the longer I think about it. At least let me keep breakfast. It's doing the best it can, Simon says from his chair next to mine. Give it some credit. It's got a disease and the treatment is poison. So it's got two problems to deal with. Breakfast isn't going to be on your body's list of top priorities. Great, I mutter. I have to get out of here soon, and to do that I have to get strong. I have to be stronger, fast. I need to eat to get strong, and here I am struggling to keep down even a few mouthfuls. Give yourself a break, Simon says, again leaning back in his chair. If you stress out, you're only going to get sicker. Let the machine do its thing and your body will cope. You're awfully cheerful, I snap, glancing at the clock. There are only a few hours until they turn off Amanda's machines. My stomach rolls at the thought, and I take a few slow breaths through my nose, concentrating on not throwing up. I'm feeling better today, Simon says. Good for you, I say, when I'm confident that speaking won't make me vomit. Grumpy, still embarrassed about getting told off by Mummy. Simon smiles. Shut it, I say. How can you be so cheerful when Amanda's got hours to live at best? It's not my fault. I never said it was, I speak through gritted teeth. But you could have some respect or empathy. Stop being so damn cheerful. You know, you're not so... Simon starts but stops. I follow his line of sight to the doorway. The cleaner is standing there. He makes a bit of a show of looking around before coming inside. He's smiling at me, a fierce smile. He stops in front of me, but before he can speak, an ear-splitting wail resonates through the hospital, cutting him off. I clamp my hands on my ears, pulling my cannula. It's a terrible sound. My entire body breaks out in goose flesh and my eyes fill with tears. I close them and try to press my feeble hands harder against my ears. It's deafening and aggressive. Amanda! I make it to my feet and pull hard on my arm, not bothering to pick up the IV. It clatters along behind me. My skin tears. Taking as deep a breath as I can, I run. Or I try to run. What I manage is more of a shamble. My legs won't listen to my brain. They are feeble, and despite my desperate urgency, they continue to shake with every step I take. I lean on the wall and manage to increase my speed. Amanda! My voice is rough and my face is wet with tears, but I don't care. The grey lady is screaming again. Amanda! I scream even louder than the wail. Why can't I go any faster? Last week I had run for the damn bus, and now I can't run to save my friend. My toppled IV catches on the door frame and I snarl at it, yanking on my arm with all of my frail strength. My cannula tears out from my arm. It hurts and my arm is bleeding, but I don't care. Sophie? I hear a voice call, but I ignore it. Amanda! The grey lady's wail ends. No! I hiss and feel my feet slip forward when I step in my own blood. I hit the ground hard and pain explodes in my stomach. My colostomy bag lies on the floor next to me, blood and waste spreading out across the floor. A shadow moves over me. It's her. She's here. I know it. I'll kill you. I hiss as my vision blurs and everything around me goes dark. Any more behaviour like that and we'll have to take action, the doctor says. I don't say anything. I just watch him as he glares at me. You don't seem to understand the severity of your own illness, he continues. You put yourself and others at risk, and we cannot tolerate that. I roll over in the bed, feeling hollow and alone. I don't care that they're mad at me. I hear the doctor huff in his footsteps as he walks away. Sophie? A female voice makes me look up. I recognise one of the nurses, but I don't recall her name. I've got some news. It's Amanda, isn't it? I say, looking away. I'm sorry, Sophie. She passed away. Even with the machine supporting her, she just didn't have it in her anymore. I close my eyes. I don't want them to see me cry. I feel a warm hand on my shoulder. It squeezes briefly before it's gone. I listen to the nurse walk away, keeping my eyes closed. They don't really care that Amanda's dead. They're acting like it's perfectly normal for someone who was doing so well to go downhill so fast. They're angry at me for making a mess in the hallway than they are about what's happened to Amanda. I have to open my eyes after a few moments. I reach across to get a tissue and try not to let my breathing hiccup. I see her when I look up. She's reflected in the window and she is smiling. She stares hard at me, not moving or making a sound, just watching me and grinning. I'll kill you, I hiss, pushing the covers back. I'll kill you. I put my bare feet on the cold floor. The grey lady does not move. You hear me? I reach out and hold on to my IV as I pull myself to my feet. Sophie? Simon says as I hobble towards the window. What are you? He stops when he sees the grey lady. I'll kill you. I whisper, I'll kill you. I lift my IV and ram the wheels into the window, breaking the glass. You bitch! Sophie! Simon hollers over the sound of breaking glass. I ignore him and scan the other windows. No way is it going to be that easy. I can see her in another window and storm over as fast as my feeble body can manage. Why? I scream and ram the IV in the window. It doesn't break, and I do it again. Why take Amanda? I hit the glass again. It cracks. Why me? Sophie? The voice of the nurse cuts through my shouts. I'll fucking kill you! I hit the glass hard again, and my arms are burning. My whole body shakes, but the crack gets bigger. The grey lady smiles at me and puts her hand on my reflection.